Hello, and welcome to my channel. Please like and subscribe. Please share. I am Domina Della Pie, Mistress Sasha Storm. I was trying to go to sleep because I have had vertigo for the last couple days, and it's not a very good feeling. But I don't have much of an appetite, so I'm not eating as I ought to. And it's like a chain, I'm not eating as I ought to because I don't have an appetite. I don't have an appetite because I'm trying to stop smoking cannabis. I have a lot of cannabis, but I'm like, I don't really need that. I feel so strong, within myself. I don't need to smoke. I don't need to escape anything. I like to feel like clear-headed as I've been and just grounded, in touch with reality, whatever that means, reality in this, this world. And so I watched an interview with a woman named Anneke Lucas, she from Belgium. And she had been, according to her, a sex slave for, wealthy elites, the people who get around in their private jets and private planes, and, they have ritualistic abuse of babies and children, sacrifices to Satan. I don't want to talk about these things. I don't know about these things, but every time I hear about those things, meaning Satanism, which is seemingly on the rise, the crazy part about that is this is practiced from the very, very highest heights. These are the people who enslave us. These are the people who oppress us. These are people who believe in such things as eugenics. They believe in their superiority, German, Belgium, all of them, all of those French, the Brits, they get together, and the Vatican, they do things to children, our children, because they're Haitian children being taken from Haiti and from other parts of the world, children from all over, because they are insatiable, and especially as so many of them are into killing the children and hunting the children and sacrificing the children. It's a source that must be replenished. But I believe that this is a practice that must be squashed. My issue with that is, since I was a child, and I've had this done to me from me being a baby, and then a little girl, and then a twink, then I was a teenager, and these grown people never stopped pursuing me sexually, and this always blew my mind. It gave me a sense of, I was disappointed with grown-ups. I was disappointed with adults, because adults were not able to protect me. And even when I disclosed to them, I still was not protected. So I believe that most grown-ups are really just midgets mentally and possibly emotionally as well, because so many supposedly grown people are complicit in this. Surely they don't believe that this is okay to do. You are a wife. Your husband is molesting your daughter. You find out about it. Why does your daughter become, your adversary, as though you see her as some competition? Is a little girl, teenage girl, young girl. She does not want your husband. She does not want your man. The young people don't want these older people unless they have been groomed, given gifts, shown some attention and affection which they never received from their own homes and their parents and family. So, if you were to really examine this, you will find most children want no part of this. But that's why they are abducted and they are tied down, they are held down, they are overpowered. Children are hunted. And these people committing these atrocities, those are your leaders. Leaders of church, leaders of industry, leaders of media, just leader. The guys who own all the sports teams, the guys who own this, that, and these guys own us. Can you believe that? I didn't know I was owned. I didn't know slavery was still in full effect. It never stopped. They've been doing this and how many of them have already died? They passed the torch. Epstein didn't kill himself, so they have ties. Harvey Weinstein. Who is Harvey Weinstein tied to? Oprah Winfrey. I saw Tom Hanks. I saw Marina Abramovich. I saw Lady Gaga. John London, whatever. I don't know these celebrities, yeah. And his Chrissy Teigen. I saw the things she tweeted. She tweeted these things, saying these things about children and what she wants, her desires for children. Listen, man, this is out of control, and I know their media, because they all frolic together. Their media working very hard to squash these stories, but whack-a-mole, they keep popping up because of the reality. And people get older after those who escape, who make it out alive. It bothers you. You can't have a regular, normal life, right? And it eats away at you, and you feel at a certain point, you gotta save these children. I've felt this way my whole life because no one saved me. And I thought it was my duty to save the others, save as many as possible. And when I was involved, the only place I heard about childhood sexual abuse was when I was involved in the queer community, other queer folk, dykes, lesbians, fags. They talked about their abuses. They disclosed, they shared their stories. One girl, she had a child with her father, I mean, that's crazy. And the father is ministering in a church. That's wild. Black people love the church so much, and so much sexual abuse of children goes on in that environment, in the teachers at school, coaches. The children don't stand a chance. And yet, earlier today, I came across a post in which it seemed a lot of women were like, they were so upset. They were righteous about, I have 4 children with 10 different men. Okay, I'm being facetious. Okay, yes, so what? I have 6 kids with 5 men. And they're talking like they're proud of that. And I'm like, oh my goodness. This is nothing. I know you are not feeling shame because you are no longer shamed for such, right? Nowadays, everybody can do it. Everybody is doing it. You have 4 children with 4 different men. You have 5 children with 4 different men. You have 5 children with 5 different men. And you're wearing that as a badge of honor. So this is not my big issue with you, that, you just see a guy, you spread for him, he gives you a baby, he leaves. See, you never ask yourself why the guy didn't stick around. All of you who are so proud, you don't have to have a baby with a guy just because you see him, you start to date him, you feel sexy, you feel turned on, you're aroused, he tells you you're hot. Yes, these guys say these things. You're probably very hot. But after he's hit it, he's on to the next. That's why I stay away from guys. Because guys have no loyalty. Most of them don't. They're very selfish, self-centered. And in too many cases, they're brats. They're brats because their mothers spoil them, right? Tell them how the mother dotes on them. And maybe they find the girls or the women they get involved with don't give them the same level of attention and affection that their mothers have given them. I just heard about sorry, I don't want to say stupid, but kind of sounds dumb. This black woman busting her ass. I think she got 2 jobs. She gives her son, how old is her son? He looked like he's like, I don't know, 17, 16. She gives him $1,000 allowance. I don't know how often, how frequent that is. It's at least once a month. And this guy is only into buying these labels, brands, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Chanel. He wants those brands. The little bitch is not working. His mother is working, right? What do you think is going to happen to such a boy? Because he doesn't want to work. He's going to be turned out. He's going to get some rich man who's going to bang his booty. And that's how he's going to get, because you mothers, you don't know what you're doing to your children. So many people thinking it's okay just because you have a pussy, you have children. It should not be like that. It should not be so easy. I see the animals in the wild take better care of their little, offspring than humans, people. People are not taking care of their children like today, right? Yesterday, some mother decides she's taking the weekend off. This bitch planned to have 3 children. Now she has 2. Every weekend she's taking off. Every freaking weekend she's taking off. Her children are during the week in school, in daycare, right? Now there's COVID, so one of them is is out of school now because they're in lockdown, but the other one is in daycare. It's your child. You should be able to spend the time with your child. You expect people to be around your child and spending the time with your child. It's your child. And you planned those children, even if you knew you didn't have a man. You had a dick, you had a penis for the moment, but there was no commitment. So if you don't, so many of you women not having commitment from these guys, and I'm speaking especially for the black ones. I know it's not just the black ones. I know a lot of white girls have multiple babies with multiple men, but I'm not talking about them because I'm a black person, okay? And it is what they call Black History Month. And it just hurts my heart to see so many of our children missing, murdered, trafficked. Children are being snatched, kidnapped, abducted. They're being lured. Or they're just being grabbed off the street, shoved into a van, and they're gone, never to be seen or heard from again. The sad truth is that there are many adults who are only stimulated by being with children sexually, and sadly, it's not enough for them to just have sex with the children. They have to torture them, traumatize them, and destroy them, damage them, break them. And that's why I say every single day, I say, please stop procreating. I know they have breeders. They have breeders. They have actual women they've abducted from when they were young. And the girl gets to be, of that age. Then they start to breed her so she can be a source for them from, But then, then they come from the underground and they come out into our world and they prey on our children. When you have poverty in a place like Haiti, just one example, many places in Africa, in the Philippines, in Thailand, all these little children there because their parents had sex. Maybe their mother was raped, Maybe she was young and raped, but she finds herself with a baby and she can't afford to raise the child. So the child is put up for adoption, foster home, foster care, or the child is just abandoned. The mother disappears and leaves the children. Like this woman I was talking about from yesterday. She decides every weekend she has to go. Mommy needs a vacation. Mommy needs a mini vacation. Mommy needs a kick in her fat ass. Anyway, Please don't have children. I know you're vain and conceited. You want to know, I want to know what my kids look like. I want to know. You know how many children there are who can use, a parent? Who you can adopt children. You can adopt children. So many children who need and want love. That's all they want is love. And y'all are just abusing them. You are resenting their presence in your lives, even though you chose to go and snag a guy who didn't want to have children. Many of you, I'm going to talk to you black women again, because many of you just going out there and you're getting these guys knowing these guys don't want children. Black guys don't want children. Not most of them don't. And those who do, it's about their ego again. I want to see my daughter looks like, oh, my son look just like me, because they think they're so damn cute. So their children got to be cute, right? So, listening to that woman, that Belgian woman, talk about what she was subjected to from since she was a baby practically, because her mother was too ill to take care of her, so the mother was quick to pawn her off. And when a countess comes around to take her little child away, she's happy because she can rest. But the countess is, setting this child up to this life amongst these so-called elites. You know the word elite, we must redefine this word. Because what does elite mean? It seems to be, it means predatory, it means evil, it means low life, it means very low self-esteem. If you have a good high self-esteem, you don't look to children to have sex with them. I'm sorry, you gotta feel like a piece of shit inside for you. And that's why you cannot even relate to your counterpart. You gotta go for a little baby. And the worst part is what you are doing to them. You are torturing them. You're abusing them. And it's sad. And you are allowed to do that and get away with it. And all of you going to church, go to the Catholic Church. Look at that. Put your money in the collection plate every Sunday. You make the church so damn rich so that the Vatican is its own little principality. And they can do whatever the hell they want. There's no law, apparently. The Pope is the law. Look at the Pope. That Pope, I don't know, from the start, every Pope before disturbed me. I found them disturbing. Especially when I started to learn more and more about the church, the bishops, the priests, and what they do to children, molesting children, boys and girls, and then being sent to the next parish and the next church, and never letting these priests, face justice. There's no justice for children. And that keeps me awake. When I need to go to sleep, I am tired, I'm sleepy, and I can't rest because I'm living in this toxic sewage of a planet Earth. This is supposed to be our garden, our Eden. Look what you've turned it into. It's hellish. And you are doing these rituals in your black hoods. You're all covered, your faces, nobody can see your face. But then eventually the hoods come off, and then you are identified. And it's like, oh my God, it's the mayor. Oh my God, it's the president. Oh my God, it's the prime minister. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. It's all of these people. You look up to them. These are your elected officials. These are the people you are voting. You want them in office. You want them in positions of leadership. You, the people. Do you know how they regard you? Oh my goodness. Is that what you, and so many of you want to be rich. Most people want to be rich. You don't want to be, why you want to be rich? Either you're rich or you're not. I feel like I'm the wealthiest woman on earth. And what do I do with all my wealth? Whatever I have, I give it away. I just give it away. But no, they hold on to it. They hoard money. They hoard money because they use it as a bargaining chip to do all the evils that they do in this world. Anyway, I didn't want to talk for this long, so I'm going to stop. Please like and subscribe. I want people to come and talk to me about these issues because very few people are talking about it. You all talk about all kinds of shit that don't matter. The children matter more than anything in any society. I believe the children are the ones that matter the most. Okay, but you all don't care about the children. But you keep supplying them to these pedos. You keep supplying them. I don't know why. This subject comes up, right, in my timeline. I see them, I'm on them, and I post and I see so many parents are on my friends list. I find it very curious that these parents never address the issue. They it's like they act like they don't see it. So are you pedophiles yourselves? Did you have children so that they could be molested? Are you molesting your children with your husband? Like, I don't understand. Why are so many adults so silent on this matter of our children being harmed and damaged and destroyed? And yet, if someone like me says something about, oh yeah, well, you have five children with 5 different men. Oh my goodness, like that's the worst thing that somebody could say, right? Why don't you care as much about the children that you've given birth to? If you have 5 children, trust me, 5 children, at least one of them is being harmed somewhere because they have to go to school. And even if you say you homeschool them, come on. There is a time that you leave your children with someone. This woman leaves her children with someone. Even if it's their father. You know what the father does when the woman, because they're not together, right? They don't live together. She drops him off. He goes and picks up the children. Where do you think? Oh, take them to granny's home. Take them to auntie's home. Well, there's COVID and auntie is immunocompromised, and granny is granny, so she's a senior, and she too is gotta be careful because mom and dad, they get around. Mom and dad, they should be, I believe, tracked because they're all over the place. They act like there's no such thing as COVID, so maybe they know something that I don't know because I'm protecting myself by. Honestly, I've always been this way. I don't like to be around people. People are coughing, they're sneezing, they don't wash their hands. You see, they come out of the washroom, they don't wash their hands. Some of them eat, they use their hand to wipe their mouth, or they wipe their hands on their jeans. Like this kind, if someone is like that, I don't want to know them. So there are all kinds of different people out there that I don't want to deal with. But things that you all think are so important, what you consider important, are nothing. It's the distractions that your so-called powers that be, they distract you with these programs. So you have your sports, you have your religion, you have your elections, you have your shopping, your holidays. There's so many things they have to distract you. And you see how they do their movies, right? They very seldom come with new movies. They have remakes because you are programmed, and I don't know what it's gonna take to wake you up out of the slumber, but you gotta wake up. Unless if maybe you feel guilt, you feel shame, because you know what you're doing is not right. It's not right to go and have children with some dude you just met, you just fucked. You didn't wear condoms, so you got a baby, but you could have got, you could have gotten other stuff, right? But you don't care about HIV and AIDS anymore, right? Because there's PrEP. Well, you can take something. You can take a pill. You can take your meds. You can take your drugs, and you're okay. It's like everything is okay now. Anything and everything goes. And I feel like this is not my world. This is not my place. This is not the place I want to be. The way that you so-called adults, you parents, you're supposed to be caring for the children, right? But you don't care for children. You don't. You care more about your material goods, your pursuit of what you perceive to be wealth. So you have 3 jobs. Imagine you have 3 jobs. If you have 3 jobs, you're not around your children. If you're not around your children, somebody is watching your children. And if your children are home alone, they could be bringing people into the home. Things are happening to the children. And so many parents don't bat an eye, don't respond, don't react, don't say a word. They all act like they're blind, they're mute, they don't care. It's like they don't care. I feel like my parents didn't care. I had 2 parents, and as far as I'm concerned, the way I was raised, they didn't give a fuck. Okay? And I'm going to point the finger at you. And you can say you love your children as much as you want. I don't believe you. And the reason I don't believe you is how these stories come up. And most of you ignore these stories. Most of you, it's like you just think they'll just go away. And meanwhile, more and more children are getting messed up. Just stop procreating. Have all the sex you want. Some of you have children so that you can trap a man, you tie a man, you try to keep a guy, and the guy don't want to be with you. You're not a nice person. Most of you are not nice. You're mean, you're wicked, you're nasty. And that's why you cannot stand somebody like me who speaks truthfully. I love you though. I love you all. And the reason you can't love me in return is you don't love yourselves. And if you don't love yourself, you cannot love your children. You know what? I know you don't love yourself. Most of you are wearing this freaking shit on your head. You don't like to hear that the indigenous people, the first people here were dark skinned. They were black Indian people. I know. I met my grandmother's father. I have pictures of my grandmother's mother. Right? She's clearly black, dark skinned Indian. You cannot mistake her for an African. You could not mistake my great-grandfather for an African. And I know many of you hate when we say that, but there are those of us who did not come from Africa, and you hate us, and we have that kind of hair. They call us Kuli, Dougla, Indian. Why do you think we have that hair? Where do you think it came from? It's not because of a white man mixing with a black woman, not like some of you over in the US and other parts of the world. It's because the people who were here, and they were dark complected. They were in the tropics. But you know, there were also those who had a red skin, and there were those with a tan skin. Because people migrate, they travel. We have the Siberians came, and here they found themselves in North America. And then the white man came, he had sex with the women. Right? Because that's what they do when they go to war. Then the spoils of war, they take the women, they have sex with them, they impregnate them, they leave children behind. They're supposed to be fighting you because they hate you, because they think you're nothing. But the first thing they do is have sex with the women. Come on, man. This is a sick world. And men are in charge and men are in control. I'm not seeing anything that men are doing that is very pleasing or it's just, I just remembered, I just listened to a man, I forget his name. This is the guy who did this, the Hunger Games. I forget his name, Paul something. I don't remember his name. But he did, what's his name? John Paul Rice, right? He spoke about Anneke Lucas. And that's how I got to go and check her out. And you try and listen to this guy speak about, he knows more about this stuff, right? Because he was in Hollywood. That's where all that shit's going down. This satanic stuff. And so many of you think you're cool because, you're doing what you're doing and you love Halloween. And you don't understand the implications of all of that. But guess what? I know y'all are drunk and high. All of you are drunk and high. All of you on drugs. You love drugs. Guess where the drugs come from? The same very people. Because they want you out of your mind. Because if you're out of your mind, you're not alert. That's why I said I was trying to stop smoking. But I have a history of anemia in my family. And I have to eat. But I don't have an appetite. And when I don't have an appetite, I smoke cannabis. And that stimulates my appetite, and then I can eat. Anyway, thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. And in a couple of months, I will have my co-host, my transgender co-host, and her and I will discuss these matters because currently I don't have someone to talk about these issues with. And these things are disturbing to me, okay? Thank you. Good night. Good day or good afternoon.